There are universal truths, some so ingrained into the very fabric of existence that even the most advanced civilizations acknowledge them. One of these truths is simple: all life faces extinction eventually. It is not a question of if, but when. For many species, the answer to that question comes swiftly and without mercy. For others, extinction looms on the distant horizon, a shadow yet to be reckoned with. And then, there are the exception species that defy this inevitable fate, not by resisting death but by transcending it. I am a member of the Galactic Concord, a peacekeeping coalition that spans galaxies. Our mandate is to ensure the survival of sentient life and maintain peace among the stars. We prevent species from engaging in self-destructive behaviors, monitor the development of technologies capable of planetary annihilation, and enforce the protocol of finality. This protocol, signed by all member species, prohibits the use of planet-cracking weapons, the ultimate tools of extinction. I have served for eons, watching over countless civilizations, but among all these races, one stands out: a species that has taken survival to a level no one could have anticipated: humanity. Humans first came into our purview centuries ago, a backwater species confined to a small planet orbiting a yellow star on the edge of an unremarkable galaxy. They should have remained inconsequential, like so many others. But humans did something remarkable. They developed faster than light travel, or FTL, far earlier than they should have. This attracted our attention, and we placed them under observation. What we found was a species both extraordinary and deeply troubling. The humans had already survived multiple near-extinction events by the time we noticed them. They were resilient, adaptive, and perhaps most importantly, unpredictable. We saw potential in them, but we also saw danger. And so, we monitored them closely, particularly as they began to interact with other species in the galaxy. Little did we know that humanity had a secret weapon, a relic of their darkest hour. They called it the Phoenix Protocol. Humanity's introduction to the wider galaxy was abrupt, as most first contacts tend to be. One moment they were alone, the next they were surrounded by species far older and more powerful. Initially, they struggled to find their place. They were not the strongest or the smartest, and their homeworld, Earth, was far from a galactic power. But they possessed a tenacity that few could match. In the early days, humanity was viewed as a curiosity, an upstart species that had stumbled into the stars by sheer luck. But as they expanded, they began to attract the attention of more established powers. One of these powers was the Azeron Dominion, an aggressive and expansionist empire that had clashed with the Galactic Concord on more than one occasion. The Zerans saw humanity as a potential threat, and in their arrogance they decided to eliminate it. The war that followed was swift and brutal. The Zerans deployed their most devastating weapons, wiping out entire human colonies in the blink of an eye. It was an extinction-level event, one that should have ended humanity's story once and for all. But the humans had prepared for this. They invoked the Phoenix Protocol. The Phoenix Protocol was humanity's ultimate survival strategy, a plan devised long before they ever left their homeworld. Faced with the certainty of extinction, the humans had built enormous Orcs, planet-sized vessels capable of housing their entire population and their collective cultural knowledge. These Orcs were hidden throughout the galaxy, beyond the reach of any enemy. When the Zerans attacked, the humans simply retreated to these Orc worlds, leaving their enemies to strike at empty planets. It was a masterstroke of survival. The Zerans had expected resistance, but instead they found nothing. The humans had disappeared, seemingly without a fight. It was only later that we, the Galactic Concord, learned the truth. The humans had not fled in fear, they had executed a plan centuries in the making. The Phoenix Protocol ensured that no matter how many times they were attacked, no matter how many worlds they lost, humanity would always survive. Centuries passed, and the story of humanity's near extinction became a legend among the stars. The Phoenix Protocol was both admired and feared. The idea that a species could evade destruction so thoroughly, so effortlessly, was unsettling to many. And yet, humanity remained a member of the Galactic Concord, contributing to the peacekeeping efforts while quietly rebuilding their civilization on their hidden Ark worlds. But not everyone was content with this arrangement. The Azeran Dominion, still nursing old wounds, saw humanity's survival as an affront to their power. Tensions between the two species simmered for decades, with skirmishes breaking out along the borders of their respective territories. The Galactic Concord tried to mediate, but the Azarans were determined to finish what they had started, and so once again humanity found itself on the brink of annihilation. This time, however, the stakes were even higher. The Zarans had developed new weapons, more powerful than anything they had used before. These weapons had the potential to crack entire planets in half, violating the protocol of finality. The Galactic Concord issued warnings, but the Azarans were undeterred. They believed that if they could destroy Earth, the heart of humanity, they could finally rid the galaxy of this troublesome species. But humanity was not caught off guard. They had been preparing for this moment for centuries, quietly moving their population onto new arc worlds, hidden even deeper within the galaxy. The Phoenix Protocol was once again in effect, and humanity was ready to disappear if necessary. The other species of the Galactic Concord watched with growing unease, fearing that humanity's calm demeanor was a sign of something far more dangerous. As the Azarans pushed closer to Earth, the tension reached a breaking point. The Galactic Concord called for an emergency summit, bringing together representatives from all major species, including humanity and the Azeran Dominion. The purpose of the summit was clear: to prevent an all-out war that could devastate the galaxy. The summit took place in the Grand Council chambers of the Galactic Concord, a vast hall that had seen countless debates and negotiations over the millennia. The atmosphere was thick with tension as the Azarans made their case. They accused humanity of harboring planet-destroying weapons, claiming that the Phoenix Protocol was not a defense mechanism but a tool of mass retaliation. The Zarans demanded that humanity disarm and dismantle their arc worlds, or face total destruction. The human representative, a calm and unassuming figure, listened to the accusations without interruption. When the Azarans had finished, he stood and addressed the council. His voice was steady, betraying no emotion. "We have already begun the Phoenix Protocol," he said simply. The words sent a ripple of panic through the council chambers. The other species feared that humanity was preparing for an extinction-level response, a final act of defiance that would leave the galaxy in ruins. The Azarans, emboldened by their belief that humanity was on the verge of collapse, launched their final assault. Their fleet descended upon Earth's core systems, unleashing their planet-cracking weapons. But when they arrived, they found the worlds deserted. Earth, the cradle of humanity, was empty. The Zarans, confused and enraged, searched the surrounding systems, but there was nothing. Humanity had vanished, just as they had centuries before. The Azarans, now in disarray, were confronted by the last remaining human fleet. But instead of a battle, the humans offered something unexpected: peace. The human leader, calm as always, explained that there was no need for war. Humanity had already relocated to their arc worlds, beyond the reach of the Azarans. There was nothing left for the Azarans to destroy. The war was over before it had even begun. The Galactic Concord, shaken by humanity's ability to evade extinction so easily, imposed new rules on arc building, hoping to prevent other species from following humanity's example. But humanity didn't care. They had already won. They had no need for war, no desire for conquest. They had mastered the art of survival, not through violence, but by simply being elsewhere. As I reflect on these events, I cannot help but feel a sense of awe. Humanity is unlike any species I have ever encountered. They do not fight for survival as others do. Instead, they transcend it. The Phoenix Protocol is not just a defense mechanism, it is a philosophy, a way of life. And in that, humanity has become unstoppable, not through brute force, but through their refusal to play by the rules of the galaxy. They are always one step ahead, always somewhere else. And in the end, that is why they will endure. The council chambers fell silent after the human leader's final words. The weight of what had just been said hung in the air like a palpable force. The Azarans, who had been so confident in their impending victory, now stood in stunned disbelief. Their grand weapons, the planet crackers designed to finally erase humanity from existence, had been rendered meaningless. The humans, with their quiet indifference, had outmaneuvered them once again. But this time, the outcome was not a reprieve, it was finality. The rest of the galactic concord watched with a mixture of relief and trepidation. The war they had feared was over, but something much larger loomed on the horizon. Humanity had revealed its hand, not in anger or aggression, but in a calm, methodical declaration of independence from the rules that governed the galaxy. The Phoenix Protocol had given them the ultimate advantage, the ability to choose when and where to fight, or even whether to fight at all. I, like many in the Council, was torn between admiration and fear. Admiration for humanity's ingenuity, for their ability to endure and thrive in the face of overwhelming odds. Fear, because I knew that no other species possessed this level of control over their own fate. The Zerans had been the most immediate threat, but what would happen if humanity were ever truly cornered? What if they faced an enemy even the Phoenix Protocol couldn't evade? These thoughts lingered as the council session adjourned. The Zerans left in disgrace, their fleet retreating from human space with its tail between its legs. The rest of us remained, grappling with the implications of what had just transpired. Humanity had not just survived, they had thrived by outthinking their enemies, by embracing a strategy that no one else had considered. It was a terrifying realization. In the weeks that followed, whispers of the Phoenix Protocol spread throughout the galaxy. News of humanity's latest victory, achieved without a single shot fired, spread like wildfire. For some species, it was a moment of profound awe. The humans, once considered a backwater race, had become a symbol of resilience and strategic brilliance. They had turned the act of survival into an art form, and in doing so, they had shifted the balance of power across the stars. But for others, the implications were far more troubling. The Exaron Dominion had not just lost a war, they had lost their status as an empire capable of instilling fear. Their defeat at the hands of a species that refused to fight traditionally exposed their own weaknesses. What good were their planet-cracking weapons if their enemies were always elsewhere? The Galactic Concord found itself in a precarious position. Humanity's actions had violated no laws, yet they had fundamentally altered the way galactic conflicts were understood. The Phoenix Protocol was not a weapon in the traditional sense, but it was far more powerful than any superweapon. It was a strategy of evasion, of outlasting any potential threat by removing the very thing that enemies sought to destroy. And because of this, humanity now stood as an uncontested force in the galaxy, not through conquest, but through absence. The conquered had to act. Quiet discussions took place behind closed doors, and soon new legislation was proposed. The creation of arc worlds would now be tightly regulated. No species could build them without explicit permission from the Concord, and any existing arc worlds were to be registered and monitored. The humans, however, seemed indifferent to these new regulations. They had already built their arcs, and they had no intention of dismantling them. They didn't need to. The Phoenix Protocol was more than just the creation of hidden worlds, it was the embodiment of their entire survival philosophy. The humans were always prepared to leave, to vanish, to start anew. They had no need to fight over territory or resources because they understood something the rest of us had not yet grasped. Survival isn't about holding on. It's about knowing when to let go. As the years passed, humanity became a more enigmatic presence in the galaxy. They still participated in the Galactic Concord, but they remained distant, watching the political maneuvering of other species with quiet amusement. Their arc worlds, scattered throughout the galaxy, remained hidden, their locations known only to the humans themselves. Even we, the Concord, had no idea how many arc worlds existed or where they were. There were rumors, of course. Some said that humanity had built hundreds of arc worlds, each one capable of sustaining their entire population for millennia. Others believed that they had created mobile arcs, drifting through the stars, forever beyond the reach of any enemy. But the truth was that no one knew for certain. Humanity had become a mystery, a species that could be everywhere and nowhere at once. Despite their newfound status, the humans did not seek power or control over the galaxy. They did not expand aggressively or attempt to impose their will on others. Instead, they remained focused on their own survival, their own future. They were content to exist in the shadows, always watching, always prepared for whatever threat might come next. But while humanity had no desire to conquer, their influence was undeniable. Other species began to adopt elements of the Phoenix Protocol, seeking to build their own versions of arc worlds or develop new ways to ensure their survival. But none could replicate humanity's success. The humans had perfected the art of survival in a way that no one else could. They had mastered the balance between caution and innovation, between retreat and persistence. The Galactic Concord, once the ultimate authority in the galaxy, found itself increasingly overshadowed by humanity's quiet dominance. The other species began to view the humans not as allies, but as a force of nature, something that could not be controlled or predicted. Humanity had become the embodiment of the very thing the Concord had sought to prevent, a species that could never be defeated. As I look back on these events, I cannot help but wonder what the future holds for humanity and for the galaxy. The Phoenix Protocol has changed everything. It has shown us that survival is not about strength or dominance, but about adaptability and foresight. Humanity has become a symbol of what is possible when a species refuses to be bound by the rules of its enemies. And yet, I am left with an unsettling thought. The Phoenix Protocol has worked so far, but what happens when humanity faces a threat that even they cannot evade? What happens when they encounter an enemy that is just as adaptable, just as resourceful? Will the Phoenix Protocol be enough then, or will humanity be forced to confront the one thing they have always avoided, their own mortality? For now, humanity remains untouchable. They are always one step ahead, always ready to vanish and reappear on their own terms. But I wonder how long they can continue this dance with fate. One day they may find themselves cornered, with no more arc worlds to flee to. And when that day comes, the galaxy will hold its breath, waiting to see if the Phoenix Protocol will rise from the ashes once again. For now, though, humanity endures. They are the phoenix that cannot be burned, the species that refuses to die. And as long as they remain, the galaxy will never be the same.